You've heard stories and rumors of fairy. A magical, mystical, and ethereal place full of contradictions. A place where all seasons exist simultaneously. A place where 100 years may only take a day, or you could be gone for only a day to return and find everyone you knew had passed on a century ago. Welcome to Folio, a live stream about solo games. I'm your host, Seda, and I'm here playing a solo game. Haven't quite nailed that intro. Today, I'm playing My Welcome to Guest, which is a game by Yoshi Kreilman, donbeargames.itch.io. It is a game, to read the text at the beginning of it, My Welcome to Guest is a solo game about being trapped in fairy and trying to bargain your way home. Throughout the game, you will be answering questions and potentially accruing taboo, which is an indicator of fairy taboos you may have breached, sometimes without you knowing what action it was that directly broke the taboo. This game will be played out over 5 acts. And this, you kind of just hop right into it, which I'm very excited for. The music on this stream is me. I have an experimental electronic act called Piloting the Animal, and last year I did a little half-hour improv thing for Drone Day. Gonna see how that works in the background. I felt like it might fit because this game playing in sort of the fae thing is obviously a little unsettling, a little spooky, but just kind of magical. Yeah. And I know that it really escalates, so I'm hoping you'll still be able to hear me. I've also got a whole new setup. Things are different. Things are always different. We're working on it. My cat wants to come in really badly, but if I let him in, he'll just be annoying in a different way. So we're gonna have to just hear him suffer, I think. This game, oh yeah, was voted on for me to play by my paid patrons. Thank you so much. If you're seeing this live or in the first 2 weeks of release, you are probably already a paid patron. Thank you. If you are seeing this after 2 weeks after it happens-ish, then that's because I've released it publicly, which is what I do. I've framed this in a very strange way. There's also a edited audio-only version on the Patreon feed, which you can get by signing up as a free member. Just take all of the audio from this without the music, edit it down a little bit, and release it in its podcast form on the bonus feed. Mostly that gets these live stream things, but there's also a few other bonus things on the way. So, yay membership, free membership. Am I weird today? I feel like I'm being weird. That's fine. It's a weird game. I'm method acting. So yes, this game begins, it has a structure, an act structure. And let's just go right into it. I read the little intro, you've heard the stories. And so I think the first thing that we do in Act 1 is a little bit of setup for sort of how we ended up in this situation. So, game built to please me specifically, so many rollable tables. Of course, you're always empowered to choose, but I love to roll things. So, the first question is, what story have you heard that made you curious to visit fairy? What was so exciting? Or, sorry, what was so enticing? The options are food and drink, unimaginable beauty, seductive fae, promise of power, eternal life, or an escape. Roll my little d6. Got 1. Food and drink. Love that already. The idea that, like, this is such a great establishing character moment. Like, were you tempted to go visit the fae because of power, because for immortality, or were you there to, like, eat or fuck? And I'm there for food and drink. That's what's made me curious. I love that. So how am I going to write this down? I'm going to write enticed by food slash drink. I'm experimenting with handwriting more on this stream rather than always trying to get a little doc set up, and I'm sorry because that means you're going to have to read my handwriting, and that is a curse that I'm inflicting on you, but it's nice to physically write something. The next question is, what tale of warning rung so true that it kept you from exploring too deeply? You could be trapped forever, torture, servitude, memory loss, leaving loved ones, or death. So I was interested in going to visit the Fae because of their legendary food or drink, but I didn't go too deeply because I was scared of getting tortured. I guess that's fair. I've written kept away by torture, comma, fear of. Which, yeah, you have to weigh these things, right? If you're like, this could be the best meal of my life, but also they could tar and feather me. It has to be a really good meal. And it must be because the third question is, until now, you've done it. You've landed in Fairy. You've never been here before, but you've heard tales of those who have been before and found their way back, so you know it's possible. What they all had in common was a guide, a local fae who helped guide them back, a guide who offered a warning. One more broken taboo, and you would have been trapped in Fairy. What inciting incident tipped the scales and finally brought you to Fairy? So this is separate from the thing that had been enticing me. This is sort of the final straw. And I'm going to roll a d6, and I got a 2, which was a loved one in need of aid. Is that okay? Yeah. I was checking in with myself on whether that felt not good to do, but I'm ultimately sort of in control of how the depths of the aid that they need, so I think I'm willing to keep going with that. And what did you have with you that might serve useful now that you are here? Why did you bring it? What do you hope it will accomplish? I will definitely want to define more about what the aid and the loved one is, but I don't have enough of a clear picture yet, so I'm just going to answer the rest of the questions and then see what the deal is. So what do I have that might be useful? I rolled a 1. Memories. Yeah, so the questions, this is something that is useful. Why did you bring it? What do you hope it will accomplish? The most obvious thing, first thought, I guess, is like the idea of my memories, like things that this loved one who I'm trying to help, leaning on our history as a source of strength if something goes wrong, because I am still scared of getting tortured. And this isn't like, there's no guarantee that I will get tortured. This could just be, like, this could be totally fake. This could just be a story, a rumor that they spread to keep people from coming and, you know, drinking all their cool juice. I hope that you can kind of hear the music. This setup, I keep thinking that I have a grasp on it, and then I change it. It'll settle out at some point. So there's that. There's the strength of the history between me and the person who I am here to help. I wonder. We'll see. Well, I'll have to see if this sort of fits into what happens with the rest of the game and the rest of the questions. But I'm also thinking, like, maybe the loved one in need of aid lost some memories, or maybe they were taken from them in a fey bargain or something that I find unfair. And so I'm bringing memories possibly to trade, or possibly like I have their memories but can't give them back for some reason. And that's something I brought to like be like, here, you just have to, I put the thumb on ice, you just have to reattach it. Something like that. I will continue to flesh that out, but I think I have my memories of us for strength, and I also, there is something about the loved one who's in need of aid. There's something about memories that they need. And so I'm hoping that I can figure that out as I'm wandering through here. So, next page of Act 1. The weather has turned foul. You spot a shelter, a fire, and a figure sipping a warm beverage. What does the host look, smell, and sound like? Ooh, capital H host. The host looks, smells, and sounds like. These are great options. A loved one, a traveling merchant, ethereal and translucent, insectoid, phytoid, completely alien. I'm rolling my d6. I got a 6. Completely alien! Yay! So the host looks, smells, and sounds completely alien. Is this my guide? Not sure yet. Okay. What about the host puts you at ease? What do they remind you of? I love that even having established that they are completely alien, there's still something like very comforting about them. That's fantastic. So the options are their smell, the way they look at you, the sound of their breath, their posture, their presence, or magical calm. Yeah, that makes sense. I got a 4, which is their posture. What about the host puts you at ease? What does it remind you of? So they're in a shelter, they have a fire, they're sipping a warm beverage, they are completely alien, but they have a posture about them that reminds me of something calming. It could remind me of a person. I am picturing just like a big like a just squid thing, right? That's a classic type of completely alien thing. A Slenderman squid. That may change, but there is something in their posture that is comforting to me. I wonder if they are this like shifting abstract feeling being. The idea that they have like arranged themselves in a way where they like, I look at them and I'm like, oh, it's a sunset or something like that. Like they can definitely look different. Like maybe if they sort of pose differently, if they hold themselves differently, they look aggressive. They look like something on fire. But the way that they're sitting, in some way, they look like a pleasant sunset. Is it sunset or sunrise? I think sunrise. I think they could look like either. And for me as a person, I generally prefer sunsets. I'm a night owl, but I think that they look like they somehow physically look like the dawning of a new day. Next question is, what about the host concerns you? Why is it so unsettling? Do you try and dismiss or rationalize your concern? And this, oh, fantastic, is the exact same list as the other one, which means there is the opportunity of getting the same thing, which is very exciting to me. Rolling my d6. And yes, I got a 4. So the thing that puts me at ease is the same thing that unsettles me. Fantastic. And I think this is like, do you try and dismiss or rationalize your concern? I think part of this is that I see them shifting as I'm coming up. Maybe before they've noticed me, or before they've decided how they want to approach me or something. I'm seeing them move around, and I see them look like, I see this beautiful sunrise, and then it shifts, and I realized it's not a sunrise. This is a person. And I see that like world on fire look, and I see the sunset, and I see like the reflection of city lights as you're driving really fast past like a canal or a river at night. Just these various little like weird lighting things. And it's unsettling because like it changes, and I think I feel a very strong emotion connected to whatever they look like, and so it's very much like, oh, there's a real power here. Do I try and dismiss or rationalize it? I think only enough to like approach them, right? Which is basically to be like, everybody can be threatening, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're dangerous. And even looking threatening doesn't mean there's real danger. It could be posturing. And of course, there's a quiet part of me that's like, the comfort and the ease could also be posturing, and that could be the real misleading thing. But I need information. So here I go. As you approach, the host offers you a spot by the fire and a cup of silvery liquid with tendrils of shimmering purple snaking through it that never completely incorporate. You know of the Fae, and legend tells you 3 things. Nothing is ever freely given. They never lie. They never tell the whole truth. When you take your seat by the fire, do you drink the liquid? If no, add 1 to taboo and go to Act 2. If yes, as you sip, you remember a vividly cherished childhood memory. What is it? Ooh, I think I'm gonna roll for a lot of these rather than making the choice, because I don't have a great sense of the character, and also I'm just curious, and I love to roll dice. So I'm gonna say odds no, evens yes for taking a sip. Odds no. Okay, so I don't drink the liquid, and that is like, so obviously I am unnerved by this. That's also interesting because one of the things that made me excited about coming here was the food and drink. And so maybe there's even a superstition here that isn't just like, being captured, the classic, eat the pomegranate seeds, or Pan's Labyrinth, eat from the buffet and get trapped here. But there's also a like, I am here to help a loved one, but also while I'm here, I might get some snacks. And there are superstitions about like filling up too soon. on Fae food, like getting distracted before you find the thing you're really looking for, and filling up, not being able to actually eat the thing that you wanted. So yeah, I do not take it, and I add a taboo, which I'm gonna write taboo here. You can barely see it on the stream, and I'm gonna track these with rocks. I run a local, like, indie game one-shot afternoon monthly, and I had to buy a bunch of these rocks for the first game, and they've been shockingly useful for other games. Turns out you can tokens, markers, whatever. But with that, I'm gonna go directly to Act 2. Act 2. There is a moment of silence which stretches until you ask for help to get back home. The host does not answer immediately. What do they do that seems like they are stalling for time? Waver back and forth, mutter inaudibly, look to the distance, look away from you, pace, or remain stock still. I rolled a 5. They're pacing. That's fascinating with, like, what does it mean for this, like, sunrise? I do think they, like, settle into a sunrise form when they're talking to me for the most part. What does it mean for the sunrise to pace? Could be like going up and down. It could just be the colors sort of rippling really quickly. The "do you love the color of the sky" classic Tumblr meme with the really long picture. It's the type of thing where you hear this in there's like music that is composed to sound like it is infinitely falling. It's that, but with the colors, the sunset colors, sunrise colors, the gradient just somehow feels like it is going forever without looping back on itself. That's what it looks like, and it's they are pacing. They're absolutely pacing. And after what seems like forever, they ask for what you offer in exchange for their help. What is it? A cherished memory, a year of service, your firstborn, yearly offerings, a welcome hearth to visit, or promise to bring another. Ooh. It would make sense to offer a memory here because that was the item that I brought, right? The useful item. But I am going to roll to see if something else sort of, if I'm more intrigued by whatever result I get. And I rolled a 5, which is a welcome hearth to visit. Interesting. Yeah, so I think part of what this is that, I'm asking for help to get back home. And they're pacing while asking me questions. And somehow I get the sense that, like, the questions they're asking are like, they want to have a full picture of it because it's like a there's like a little bit of a yearning there. And I invite them, and obviously it's dangerous to just, I think I definitely stumble on it, right? Like I do a, like, you're welcome anytime, which is over promising, and that could be dangerous in the future for sure. But basically, I have invited this strange fae, this host, to be able to just visit my house as an exchange. If you offer the cherished memory, the host accepts and you immediately lose the memory, but you can almost feel the gap where the memory was. You know that you had it, but only that you once had it. Otherwise, roll 1d6 plus taboo. Oh, okay. So if I'd gone with my first instinct instead of rolling, I'd be good to go. But because I didn't, I have to roll 1d6 plus taboo, and we'll see if they go for it. I rolled a 3 and I have 1 taboo. So that is a 3 to 5. The host accepts, but also add 1 to taboo. Interesting. I wonder... At the beginning of the game, it does say you might not know what caused the taboo. And so I don't want to... It might be part of it to, like, not know what happened, but I'm just trying to think, even if my character doesn't know, I want to think through the host's logic here. As it were, logic. There is a logic to it. There is a logic to the fae. It's just often inscrutable to non-fae. Maybe it's that I did it under a form of duress. Like, it's not about like, oh, I'm offering this to you so you'll help me. It's about the fact that I like read into like I made an offer that seemed like something that they needed and wanted instead of offering the same thing sort of my own volition. It's what I think part of the thing I'm pushing against is like, well, that feels like it's a trap in some ways, and I think that's okay. It can be a trap because that's kind of one of the things that happens. It's like the thing of like, well, I offered it because you wanted it, and it's like, yeah, but you should have offered it before you knew I wanted it, or something like that. And again, this character doesn't know this, but I believe that is sort of the taboo that happened here. But they are going to help me get home. And that brings us to Act 3. No, I'm writing in cursive for like the act breaks. I just had to check if I'd accidentally done 3 E's, but I did not. I did it correctly. Once the bargain of help is accepted, an exchange of questions begins. Roll 1d6 and answer the question. You know the answer will give the host power to entice you and keep you here. What are the answers? Do you tell the host honestly and completely? Cross off the option and roll again. Ooh, when you roll a crossed off option, continue to Act 4. Cool. So yeah, this is a list of 6 questions. And basically, depending on how I answer, I get various levels of taboo. I really like the controlled randomness of as soon as you roll an option you've already done, keep going. That's really fun to me. And this is just a straight d6 roll, not plus taboo, right? Yes. This could be rough. Okay. I rolled a 5, and the question is, the host tells you a story of someone who wandered here and is still here as part of a bargain. You recognize it as another villager who went missing last year. Do you ask what the bargain was? If you ask, they will tell you, but add 1 to taboo. If you don't ask, how do you change the subject so as to not give offense or let on that you know something about the situation? Interesting. Do I ask what the bargain was? Yeah, I'm gonna roll for this because I can see either way. Like, I can see how it would be. I ask it. I could ask it for multitude reasons, right? Like, I could ask like out of concern for them, or even just out of concern for myself. Like, oh, how can I avoid that fate? But I could also know enough to not ask, and so I'm gonna roll again. Um, Odds no, evens yes. I rolled a 6, so yes, I ask. um, yeah, so if you ask, they will tell you, but add 1 to taboo. Rip. um, and I think it is that I ask out of a mixture of concern for them and nerves, that I'm like, ooh, I is this what I'm signing myself up for? Like, did I just already sign myself up to be trapped by inviting you into my home? Um, what is the bargain? I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to roll on um, a couple of the questions from Act 1, the ones that are about like what brought you here, and just see. So that's first the like what was enticing, what were the enticing stories, promise of power, and what was the inciting incident, loss. Oh, yeah. So they'd always this is a person who lived in the same town as me, who always wanted power from the Fae, and then they lost something. I don't think that it's as much as like it isn't like power over life and death, but it's just like things started to go poorly in their life, and they were like, if I had magic, none of this would be happening to me, which unfortunately probably not strictly true. And yeah, they what was the bargain? Probably some trickery about like changing your life, giving them a whole new one. But also I think it's like they could get out of here. They could get the power that they were asking for, but they have to like collect things, a bunch of things that are really difficult to hold on to. And so they're basically on this like never-ending fetch quest that, if they managed to do it, would technically give them the powers that they wanted, but it's unlikely to happen. Okay, so that was. I'm going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to keep note of which questions I've asked. I've asked number 5. And I rolled 5 again. Well, shit. Okay. So, immediately go to Act 4. That was enough for me. I'm not sure if that actually muted. If not, sorry for clearing my throat directly at you. Yeah, so I ask that, and then we immediately move on to Act 4. Let's see. That's funny. I'm definitely picturing like what was it that I'm just going to glance at a couple of the other questions to see what they could have asked, because I think they tell this story. What were they testing me on? They were testing to see if I would not offend them or not know anything. Which is interesting. So I guess that's what it is. Yeah, they were testing. They like it's a worry about like almost purity of intentions. Like I I the host want to believe that you are here for reasons that have nothing to do with like that you just ended up here, or that like you don't know why other people might be here. They wanted a like blanker slate. But I knew something about this person's plans, I guess. And so they immediately just stop asking questions. And Act 4. You know when you get back, no one Act 4. You know when you get back, no one will believe you were in Fairy. What do you see that you want to take back as proof? Piece of clothing, a lock of hair, an unknown flower, an ethereal trinket, a missing ancient relic, or food and drink? Snacks, please. No, I rolled a 1. A piece of clothing. Ooh. This doesn't say that I take it. It just says that I want to. And I wonder, piece of clothing could be like clothing from somebody who we knew was taken by the Fae. Or it could be like magical textiles of some kind, something that is like recognizable as magical. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's like a shifting, because we know people who've successfully come back, right? And maybe they often come back with this like magical type of fabric that like shifts colors or changes your face or something like that, like can act as a disguise. Um, yeah. So, what do you offer in exchange? Different for your offer for a guided return. Yeah. So I see this piece of clothing and offer something to be able to take it. Rolling my d6. These are the same things as the offers before. I got a 2. A year of service. Do I have to? Okay, there doesn't seem to be an option to not take it. And I think interesting. Okay, yeah. So this game is very focused on not even the mission that I had of helping my loved one. This is just the escape. So I guess I've sort of successfully done what I came here to do already. Maybe. I'll see. Yeah. Okay. But why do I need proof? Why do I need proof? This loved one who lost memories, they know that they lost them to the Fae, and there have been some quacks who have offered to like recover those memories from the Fae, but they've just given them false memories that they've then like had to extract or, you know, learn how to deny. And even though they trust me, they are worried that I got taken in by somebody else, right? Like if I come back with my little, what I'm picturing is just like a memory jewel, a crystal. I come back with that. And they're not going to believe me because they're going to be like, you didn't go to Fairy. Somebody like snake oiled you just like they've done me a few times. And it's okay, but like those are fake. I'm not going to take those memories. Those aren't mine. And so I'm like, no, if I prove that I was in Fairy, they will believe that these are their memories. And that's why I need the proof, which is why I offer a year of service to bring back this piece of clothing. And what is that? Is that service here? Maybe it's in addition to the like welcome hearth thing. Maybe it's now not only like you are welcome at my home anytime, but it's like I will take care of you. And it's not a calendar year, I think, is part of the thing that's too bad here. It's like the number of hours or days in a year, but could be for any amount of time. So if they can they can come to my house and stay for 365 days over the course of 15 years. And it's like when they are there, I have to take care of them in some way. I'm not sure exactly what they want or need, but yeah, it's about upgrading the offer I already made. And maybe it's like an ask that they make, like I try to offer more material things at first, and then it becomes like I get very lonely and tired when I travel. I certainly hope that when I appear at your hearth as you've invited me, that you won't simply treat me as a boarder, that you will prepare meals and take meals with me, that you will share of your heart, not just your home, and that sort of thing. And it gets morphed into like, yes, when you visit for a year, this year, over the course of however long it takes, they will be family, like a top priority person to me. I will drop everything else. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna roll 1d6 plus my taboo. I've got my 3 taboo rocks here. So I got a 4. The host accepts, but add 1 to taboo. I'm at 4. Which again, they had to ask, right? So that's probably it. Going to Act 5. The host snaps their fingers and the weather clears. They guide you down a windy path to a crop of trees. Their voice changes as they sing a song that raises all your hair. The air is full of energy. They turn and stare into your eyes, feeling like they're gazing into your soul as their singing softens and ends. You know there were words in the song, but all you can remember is before you lies two doors, one back to your realm, the other to a place of penance. I think you should take the door on the left, but the choice is yours. If you trust the host and believe you haven't made too many faux pas, choose the door on the left. Otherwise, choose the door on the right. Make a choice about which door. Okay, so I have to choose left or right. Do I trust the host? Do I believe I haven't made too many faux pas? I do think that as far as I can tell, I have navigated this very well. I've offered all of the things that they wanted. I have successfully made these trades. And I think that I do still feel comfortable around them. And I think even maybe our little hosting thing has started to take effect, where like they do already feel like a priority to me. They feel like somebody who's very close to me, who I am going to take care of, as I offered to do. Especially maybe if I believe that I'm about to go home. I'm like, we are basically at my doorstep, right? And so I trust you. You are like family to me, broad sense of family, including found family, chosen family, etc. So the host says that I should take the door on the left, and I trust them, and I think that I've done really well down here. Look significantly at my little pile of 4 taboo. So I'm going to go to the left. Roll 1d6 plus taboo. If you get a 1 to 4, the door on the left leads you home. And then, you know, that means that because the host said 1 goes back to your realm, 1 goes to a place of penance. So if you roll a 1 to 4, the one on the left leads you home, the one on the right to the place of penance. If you roll a 5 to 6, the door on the right leads you home. The door on the left is a place of penance. If you roll a 7 plus, there must have been a third door that was the one that led you home. I have 4 taboo. So there is no chance of me getting home here because I trusted the host. I cannot roll a 1 to 4. I have to 5 at the least. And it's incredibly likely that I'll roll a 7 plus. So, let's see. Hey, I did roll a 1. So, lowest possible roll. I still don't go home. I go to a place of penance. Which I was just checking, glancing back to the rules to see if that is like further defined, but no, I think that it is a place where you go to work off debts, to apologize for your rudeness in a magical way. And I think I am going to I think I want to play a couple of the acts again to see if after I do my penance, I successfully make it out. If not, that's fine. I'll probably end it there, but I like the idea that you could do. So this game was created for a jam, the short and easy jam, a game jam at creating games that can be played in under 2 hours, which I didn't realize. I had missed that line of text, and it has in fact been under an hour even, which is amazing. Shout out. Yeah, I just want to look at my acts and see. I think that I'm going to replay everything except the very beginning. So I'm going to pop back in. I'm going to clear my taboo and pop in partway through a second act 1, which is where I find the host. I stumble out of this penance realm and I find someone else. I'm trying to get home again. What does the host look, smell, and sound like? 5, phytoid. I do not know that word. I have to look that up. Phytoid. Phytoid is... Oh, they look like a plant. Okay, cool. Plant-like. Awesome. Which I think is the thing of like, it just looks like... This just looks like a bunch of like brambles and stuff, and then they sort of unravel and have the very classic, like, you know, humanoid fae wrapped in like leaves and branches, and they have some features that clearly indicate like they are also a plant. This stuff is like, it looks like it's wrapped around them, and then it's obvious that it's growing out of them. And they're hot. Classic hot leaf fae. What about the host puts you at ease? What does it remind you of? Their smell. And they smell like my childhood garden, right? They smell like not just the physical, the smell of the garden, but the smell of freedom and exploration and spring break, summer vacation, when everything's still alive, when everything's still full of potential. That's what it smells like to me. That's what that's what the host smells like, and how they make me feel. What concerns me? Their posture. Why is it unsettling? Let me shift my little notebook so you can see my new notes. Okay. Can I make it so you can still see the itch link? Kind of. Okay. Their posture concerns me. I think that they're guarded. Like, there's the feeling that they were prepared for me to be here. This isn't a coincidence. They are on this path to catch people who are leaving this penance place. And yes, I can hand wave that by being like, of course they're here. That doesn't mean this won't work. maybe they're probably not put here to help. They're probably put here to guard, but that doesn't mean they won't help if I do it right. Maybe, right. As you approach, the host offers you a spot by the fire and a cup of silvery liquid with tendrils of shimmering purple snaking through it that never completely incorporate. You know of the Fae, legend tells you three things. Nothing is ever freely given, they never lie, they never tell the whole truth. But do I drink the liquid? I think I do this time. I have had a lot of time to think and had to make penance for the things I did that were rude. And so there might still be stumbling blocks here where I can find where I do accrue taboo, most certainly. But in this moment, I know I was supposed to drink this the first time when I saw my other host, the sunrise, when I saw the sunrise. And so I do. And I take a sip, and if yes, as you sip, you remember vividly a cherished childhood memory, what is it? A celebration, a ritual, a meal, an intimate moment, a triumph, an unexpected kindness. 2, a ritual. Ooh. So immediately I think this is like a ritual that was done in the garden, and I think it's a literal ritual. Kids are always doing weird magic shit. They just are. And I think that connected to what I was saying of like what they remind me of, those summer things, I think that this was a few of my friends and I, including the loved one whose memories I recovered, which I still have, by the way. We were trying to do a spell to like lengthen the summer when we were quite young. And part of the reason this is cherished is that it worked. Not really. We didn't actually do magic, but I'm trying to think of a way that summer break or whatever could be extended that isn't a horrific tragedy. Like we could have all gotten sick. That's kind of funny. We like made a potion and all drank it for this ritual of extending summer, and we all drank it and we made ourselves sick. And so we didn't have to go back to school. But it was the kind of sick where like it was okay. It was nice. Like we couldn't go to school because at first they didn't know if it was contagious. Maybe it's just like it shows on the skin in some way. But we were all of us kids who did the ritual, we were all quarantined together for like a week before they figured out what happened. It was great. It was like we did get a little extra week of summer. And we all think about that a lot, even like that is a touch point for all of us in our lives. So I remember this ritual. As you open your eyes, you find the host staring at you intently. They nod gently. I wonder if I can't confirm this, but almost the sense that like they were there. That's a very Fae bargain in some ways, right? Like, yeah, you don't have to go to school, but you are sick. And this was, I think, just a very practical material thing, but the implication is almost that like they were there, and if we'd done the ritual more correctly, some real magic would have happened. We missed a step, but like it could have been summer forever, which isn't actually good either. The world is not built for that. But yeah, they were there. That's one of the reasons that they're familiar. We could have done real magic, but we didn't. And then we go to Act 2. My handwriting is getting smaller, which is making it worse. Again, I'm so sorry. There is a moment of silence which stretches until you ask for help to get back home. The host does not answer immediately. What does it seem? What do they do that seems like they're stalling for time? Remain stock still. Which I think is them like, I almost start to wonder if I was hallucinating it, because they as they go still, they just start to blend so perfectly into the landscape that if my eyes dart around a little bit, I start to believe like I've been talking to just a regular plant this whole time, but I can pull focus a little bit and see their face and see, no, this is a person. After what seems like forever, they ask for what you offer in exchange for their help. What is it? Do I... Oops, apologies, I just hit the microphone. I am supposed to offer this cherished memory, this memory I just had. Do I do it? Yes. I think that my time doing penance, I have learned and I think there's a sense of relief just before I actually forget. There's a sense of relief because I was starting to have that like, ooh, we're attached, you were there, starting to have like a more intense personal connection. And so I think there's a small moment of relief where it's like, oh, this will distance us from each other a little bit. That's good for me. And then it's gone. I know that there was something there, but I don't know what it was. If you offer the cherished memory, the host accepts. You immediately lose the memory. You can feel the gap where the memory was. You know that you had it, but only that you once had it. And so that specific memory disappears. I wonder if I still remember being sick. Yes, I think that's part of the sad thing here is I remember getting sick and I remember the quarantine, but I remember it significantly less fondly now. Like, it's still nice, but there's part of me that's like, oh yeah, I remember that was so boring. That was such a boring week. One before that was a magical week. Yeah. Yeah. And there's the disconnect, right? Like, you can feel the gap where the memory was. I have that feeling. I remember sharing excitement with my friends about it later. Like, I remember us talking about how wonderful it was. And then it skips the step and I'm like, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was boring. So, unfortunate. But I do not accrue a taboo there. We'll go to Act 3. Once the bargain of help is accepted, an exchange of questions begins. Roll 1d6 and answer the question. You know your answers will give the host power to entice you and keep you here. What are your answers? Are you honest? Do you answer them completely? And again, I will write out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because this is the thing of, if you get a question that you've been asked before, immediately go to the next act. I rolled a 4. The host tells you a story of when they visited your home. You recognize it from a story your grandmother told you from when she was a child, yet the host talks about it as if it were yesterday. What was the bargain your grandmother made with the host? How does the host's version differ from your grandmother's? Do you tell the host your grandmother's version? If you do not tell it or don't tell it completely, add 1 to taboo. Ooh. Again, gonna go up and just scroll the I'm gonna roll on the sort of like why are you here things to see what Grams was looking for from the Fae. Rolled. And what was enticing? Seductive Fae. Great. Inciting incident. A misstep. Ooh. So I think the bargain was companionship. Grandma was very lonely. And oh, when she was a child, right. Yeah. And it was companionship. She was lonely, and I think she gave something. What did she give? I'm gonna roll on I'm gonna roll on both the like useful item and the offer tables to see like what she gave. So the useful item, there was picture of loved ones, and the exchange offer, picture of loved ones and promise to bring another. Ooh, okay. Yeah. So I think that she wanted this Fae to be her friend, and there was reticence, and so she was like, well, I have lots of friends. I have so many friends and a sister. So it won't just be me. It's a group hang, and essentially like created this odd little coven around this Fae. And I think to lead into like the seduction thing, I think that, you know, as she got older, they had this like torrid affair, her and the Fae. And I don't know that she strictly told me that. I think that she told the story as sort of a metaphor. She would talk about like how it was like she was like, yeah, there was a Fae for sure. There was magic and weird shit going on there, and it brought all of me and my friends closer together, and it was so nice. And when she would talk about it, the sense that I got was like, did you sleep with all of your friends in your weird little fairy coffin, Grandma? Because that's okay. But like, the vibes are odd sometimes when you tell this story. And I think she probably did. They were weird magic teens together. What are you going to do? But I think also the thing that she left out was, yes, there was a very intense emotional connection between her and this Fae throughout sort of like her teen years, maybe her early 20s. Do I tell the host? Because my hesitance there was like, I'm worried that the host will find that insulting because it's like she erased them from the story. So I would like, I think that host is telling this with a hint of regret. That's like, you know, the host is talking about this as if it was yesterday, and says like, I'm worried she'll never move on. I'm worried she won't be able to live a full life now that I can't visit her anymore. Because our bargain ended, which is maybe like everyone else in the coven sort of like moved on from it. Maybe it's that kind of thing, like everyone else very naturally came to an end of like needing this thing in their lives, and she didn't, but that did break it, and so the host couldn't visit her anymore. And so I do say, I'm like, no, she did live a whole life. She had a daughter who had a daughter and another daughter and another daughter, and that's me and my sisters. And she remembers it very fondly. Wistfully, but fondly. And so I'm able to like provide a little comfort and not get a taboo. I'm gonna roll to see if there's another question. Yes, 5. The host tells you a story of someone who wandered here and is still here as part of a bargain. You recognize it as another villager who went missing. Do you ask what the bargain was? If you ask, they will tell you, but add 1 to taboo. If you don't ask, how do you change the subject so as not to give offense or let on that you know something about the situation? I don't want to metagame my way totally through this because I love to put my characters in situations, and so I don't want to just take every single choice that leads to not getting taboo. But this pretty directly obviously upset my last host. So I don't think I do ask what the bargain is. And I think this is a different person also. Got a lot of people going missing. But so I don't ask what the bargain was, but how do I change the subject so as not to give offense or let on that I know something about the situation? If I can't think of something, I will just ask. I will take the taboo and just ask about the bargain. I think I just play it super, like, play it relatively cool. Like, the host is a little bit trying to goad me into being like, this is somebody from your village, you know them. And I think I just play it very, like, pretend that I don't recognize the name, pretend that I don't recognize the story, and maybe sort of deflect to some grandma stuff. Like, leaning on that connection, like, well, you know my grandma, she always said not to take stock in rumors or something like that. Just really wave it off, pretend that I'm not affected by it. Which, like, yeah, that's, I imagine that they can read that off of me in some way, but maybe I also change, I further divert by like asking more questions about what their relationship with my grandma was like, and I want more of those stories. Like, I'm like, tell me stories about somebody I know. Lying. um yeah, okay. And I'm gonna roll for another question. I got a 1. What about fairy is enticing to you? If you lie or do not tell the whole truth, add 1 to taboo. the thing that first enticed me was the food and drink. And I think I say this in the context of like, I've met a lot of people who are here for heroic reasons. And I did technically come down to help someone. But the thing I really wanted was a good meal. And I think this like has the feeling of a confession. Because I've been in penance for quite a while, right? And so it's like, you really, that was really the thing that like, would this have been worth it for you if that's all you did? Just ate some good fairy food? And I think I'm kind of like, yeah. Like, not entirely, but yeah. And so I am honest. And it's embarrassing. And I rolled a 4 again, so I'm going to go immediately to Act 4. You know, when you get back, no one will believe you were in fairy. What do you see that you want to take back as proof? 4. An ethereal trinket. What do you offer in exchange? Your firstborn. Great. And I think the motivation for this is the same one. Like, I don't know how much time has passed in my original world. And I'm still like, maybe I can still save this person. I need to convince them. And if I was here, if I've been gone for a really long time, then bringing more proof makes sense, right? Like, I was there for a long time. What is the trinket? I'm trying to think of something related to my grandmother. Oh, maybe she had like half of a friendship necklace from when she first made this agreement with this fae when she was a kid. Half of a friendship necklace, and she gave the other half to this fae that has now been imbued with this magical spirit. And I would like to bring it back. I offer my firstborn, huh? I think the offer is that I say that I will give my child this necklace, the whole necklace, both halves, and the kid can do what they want with them. And that's dangerous because it would be really easy for this fae to like appear and make a really good case for connecting the two of them together. But it is also possible that the kid could give it to someone else and that something different could happen. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble for both of us, weighted against me for sure. But I do offer that. I'm going to roll 1d6 plus taboo. I rolled a 1. The host accepts your offer as is. Great. with that, going to Act 5. The host snaps their fingers and the weather clears. They guide you to the doors. One is to your realm, one is to a place of penance. If you trust the host and believe you haven't made too many faux pas, choose the door on the left, otherwise choose the door on the right. I do think that I've done much better this time. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try the left again. Roll 1d6 plus taboo. Oh, this is so scary. 1 to 4. I'm going home. A 5 or 6. Nope. I rolled a 3. So, I have actually successfully left this time. Great. Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. That's what a beautiful ending. And I think I will leave it at that. I have the memories of my loved one. I bring them back to them. And they have to believe me because I have all this proof. And I think that time has passed, but not as long as it's been for me. Like, I was gone for years. And it's been like long enough that they were worried, but not that they thought I was necessarily dead. It's been a few weeks, a couple months or something. And yeah, I give them their memories back. And I think that this is it, like, one possible ending shot of this would be like a positive pregnancy test, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen. Maybe not. I don't want to confirm that yet. Maybe it's that maybe I tricked them and I already have a kid. And so it's like me sitting down with this kid and being like, okay, listen, I have a gift for you, but I need to tell you some stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the end of it. All right, cool. Yeah, this was Folio, a live stream about solo games. I was your host, Seda. You can find me on Blue Sky at pesedachips.gaygothvibes.online and find more of my work at gaygothvibes.online. You can find more Piloting the Animal, which is what the soundtrack was, at pilotingtheanimal.bandcamp.com, or check out all of my work at gaygothvibes.online. There's also a bunch of Piloting the Animal stuff there, both music and just weird glitch art and that kind of thing. Thank you for being a member on Patreon. If you are. If you aren't, consider being a member on Patreon. At paid tiers, you can vote on games and watch these streams and have access to the VOD for the first 2 weeks before anybody else. And if you join as a free member, you can get access to the bonus feed where I post a little edited audio-only version of it a couple weeks after they air, which is also when the VOD goes live. This was My Welcomed Guest by Yoshi Krillman. Krillman. My mouth just started to do the "you've been talking out loud for an hour and a half" thing, so all words have become mush. Yoshi Krillman, whose work you can find at donbeargames.itch.io. This was so fun. Huge fan of the simple games that you can just do real quick. I basically played it twice through in this stream, almost in its entirety, and it felt really great. That was really fun. Evocative, cool, very direct, but with open spaces for interpretation. All of the stuff that I like in a game that is very tables-based, which is my favorite type of game. And I think that is it. Yeah, check out Folio, foliopod.card.co. Podcast. Normally the actual podcast has multiple guests on it. Do I normally pitch stuff at the end of these? Why don't I... Did I sell some memories to the Fae? I feel like I don't know my own process. That's fine. This was great. This was a stream. Thank you so much for joining me, and take care out there.